Temperature was 56 degrees with a 13-mile-per-hour wind, and the Vikings were favored to win by 14.5 points. Dick Butkus had off-season knee surgery and was eager to pound somebody. It didn't take long. NFC Central Division, home to the Bears and Vikings, was known as the Black and Blue Division. Games typically consisted of plays resulting in 3 yards and a cloud of dust, literally, due to the baseball dirt infields. This Week 2 game resulted in the Bears rushing 25 times for 75 yards, a 3.04 yards per carry, while the Vikings ran 28 times for 84 yards, exactly 3 yards per carry. Although Ron Smith intercepted 13 passes in his 10-year career, he was better known for his punt and kickoff return skills as he returned 5 for touchdowns. Bears number 11, Jack Concannon, was the first overall draft pick in the 1964 AFL draft by the Patriots, but he signed with the NFL Eagles. He started 40 games for the Bears, and this was his second to last start for them. Number 33, Jim Grabowski, was the AFL's first overall draft pick in 1966 by the Dolphins, but he signed a huge contract with the Packers instead. This fumble recovery led to the first score of the game. On the final play of the first quarter, Bob Grimm gained 10 yards in front of rookie cornerback Charlie Ford, number 32. Former guard turned defensive tackle George Seals was a little antsy on this play. From the 4-yard line, a great play fake to Dave Osborne allowed Bob Grimm to score and leave Ron Smith and Joe Taylor wondering what happened. Bears offense couldn't do much in the first half as they only rushed for 22 yards and passed for 73 against the vaunted Purple People Eaters. Number 60, Roy Winston, blitzed, but it was Alan Page's effort that showed why he would be named the NFL's MVP at year's end. The tipped floating pass was picked off by Carl Kosalki, who made the Pro Bowl in 1970, and he returned this pick 27 yards. This game started out in typical Bears-Vikings fashion back then. It was a grueling tug of war. The Vikings only produced 100 yards of offense in the first half, and number 41, Dave Osborne, found it tough going, as he only rushed for 16 yards on 10 carries for the day. When the Vikings' running game ground to a halt, Concannon tried some short passes to loosen the Vikings' tough defense. Then he tried some medium deep passes, but the Vikes got wise. Jim Marshall poured in for a sack. And the Bears settled for a 45-yard Mac Percival field goal to make the score 7-3 Vikings. To start the second half, Quaslow hit his tight end Stu Voigt, who was making his second career start, for 19 yards. Then the Vikings went deep, and Bob Grimm rolled into the end zone on a 52-yard touchdown. This extra point by Fred Cox was much coveted by Vikings fans. Really? Too cheap to hook up effective netting in order to prevent fan injury? Come on, man. In order to slow the Vikings' fervent pass rush, the Bears tried the screen pass to Jim Grabowski for a 25-yard gainer. On third down, Tarkenton rolled out and threw too late to wide receiver George Farmer. Farmer crashed into the wire fence. Again, too cheap to put up padding, I guess. So much for player safety. The ensuing field goal attempt was no good, and on the next drive, Quaslow broke the Bears' zone defense by hitting Stu Voigt for 25 yards in front of Charlie Ford. The Vikings' longest run of the day was 13 yards by Jim Lindsay. On his other 5 carries, he totaled 14 yards. Ron Smith had a fine game, and he broke up this pass intended for Dave Osborne. Fred Cox's 14-yard field goal gave the Vikings more cushion. The Bears' offensive line gave Tarkenton enough time to hit rookie tight end Earl Thomas. His brothers Mike and Jimmy also played in the NFL. Moose, number 81, Carl Eller, pounded Tarkenton, and that was it for him this game. Enter number 16, Kent Nix, a cast-off from the Steelers where he was an undrafted free agent out of TCU. He only threw one pass for the Bears in 1970, but he proved to be the most unlikely hero of this game. It only took him one play to hit Dick Gordon on a 36-yard touchdown. The Vikings didn't do anything on the next drive, and the Bears stalled on theirs, but Mac Percival came through again with another 45-yard field goal to make the score 17-13 Vikings. With a little bit more than 3 minutes left in the game, Dick Butkus got his defense fired up and they smothered Quaslow. Now with less than 3 minutes remaining, Chicago took over on offense, and Kent Nix hit tight end Bob Wallace for a huge 26-yard gain. On third down with about 1 minute 45 seconds remaining, Nix and Gordon connected again for the game-winning touchdown. Vikings were favored to win in 4 of 5 of these games, anywhere from 5 points to as many as 14.5. The only game that Chicago was favored to win was the 1977 game that Fran Tarkenton did not play due to injury. The Bears beat the point spread every time. Let's get after it. Entering Week 5, the Bears had the NFC's top-rated defense, but the Vikings' number 44, Chuck Foreman, bedazzled them. The Vikings were favored to win by 7.5 points on this sunny but crisp 48-degree day on October 10th, 1976. Chuck Foreman was the story of the game in the first half as the Vikings led 17-0. The second half belonged to Walter Payton. He scored 2 third-quarter touchdowns, and backfield mate Roland Harper added another. But the Bears missed 2 extra points to make the score Minnesota 20, Chicago 19. A costly penalty negated this would-be game-winning touchdown. Walter Payton was held to 16 rushing yards in the first half, but he busted out for 111 yards in the second half. He was their entire offense, as quarterback Mike Phipps only generated 47 net yards passing on the day. Vikings linebacker Fred McNeil blocked a field goal attempt midway through the fourth quarter that would have tied the score at 17, and then the Bears committed this big blunder later, which led them to set a club record with 8 straight defeats in one season. On September 29th, 1974, it was a cold 47 degrees at Metropolitan Stadium, and when Bob Parsons couldn't handle this low snap, Wally Hilgenberg belted him for a safety. In typical Bears-Vikings style of play, it was a bruising first quarter that ended with the score of 2-0 Vikings. Future Hall of Fame center Mick Tingelhoff snapped the ball to future Hall of Fame quarterback Fran Tarkenton, who threw a bomb to Pro Bowl wide receiver John Gilliam, who made the Pro Bowl squads each of the 4 years that Tarkenton was his quarterback. Unfortunately for the Vikings, this touchdown was called back due to a penalty, and Gilliam only caught 1 pass all day. Here's classic Tarkenton, scrambling in order to buy enough time to find tight end Stu Voigt, who had 5 catches for 50 yards and the only Vikings touchdown on the day. Bears used Alan Page's aggressiveness against him as Ken Grantberry blew by him, and he demonstrated some fine moves and power as he rushed 19 times for 76 yards. Quarterback Gary Huff's offensive line gave him enough time to unload this aerial to Charlie Wade for a nice 70-yard gain. Gary Huff scored a touchdown on a 3-yard run to make the score 11-7 Vikings, but he was picked off by Paul Krause deep in Vikings territory near the end of the game, and the Bears came up short. Fran Tarkenton suffered the first serious injury of his 17-year NFL career in Week 9 of the 1977 season when the Bengals' Gary Burley broke his right leg just above the ankle. Tarkenton was having an incredible day. Rookie quarterback Tommy Kramer took over and led the Vikings to 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns, But the following week, the Vikings head coach Bud Grant decided that veteran Bob Lee would be the starter against the Chicago Bears. Lee went 12 of 24 passing for 116 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The only Vikings touchdown came on a Matt Blair 10-yard blocked punt return. Bears quarterback Bob Avellini didn't pass often. He didn't need to, because the Bears' rushing attack carved up the Vikings' defense to the tune of 343 yards, with Walter Payton rushing 40 times for an NFL record 275 yards and 1 touchdown. Bears were favored to win by 2.5 points, and they beat the Vikings 10-7. Please click the like button, and as always, thank you for watching.